Welcome to the Floor Academy podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Hedin, owner of Illustrious Hardwoods in Mesa, Arizona. With me this week is Duane Paradis. He is the technical manager of GoBoard with JohnsManville. And we're going to dig into unique marketing opportunities. How do we find a way to advertise our services, our products, our offerings in ways that the competition may not be doing? How do we find a way to present what we have as unique when it may not be, right? We may be doing all the same things as the competitors in our area, but we're finding a way to present it differently from everyone else, or we're keying in on a item that they may be doing as part of their process, but they're not hitting on. This came about as, GoBoard wasn't JohnsManville isn't in the shower tile world. This is a new market for them, and GoBoard came from the roofing industry. And so we're going to hear a little bit more about that as we dig into this topic and how we can find maybe different uses for products by just looking at what's going on. That's really what Duane did, but we're going to let him get into that. So that's going to be today's topic, is finding a unique way to market yourself. And every week you can come and tune in to the Floor Academy podcast. Every Wednesday there's a new episode, and we're digging into topics to help you change the way you're running your business. Instead of owning a job and just operating as a contractor that installs flooring or installs bathrooms, showers, whatever it may be, we want you to look at this as not just a career path, but that you own a business, and a business needs systems and processes. And you need to look at all of these things and work on them individually instead of just going out and doing the service that you offer. So when you want to grow, we are your source to find all of the information to be able to do that with your business. And you can find us on YouTube. You can find us on your favorite streaming app for podcasts. You can go check out the website at flooracademypod.com. Make sure that you leave a 5-star review on either Spotify or Apple. That really helps us in the rankings, and you guys and gals are all my marketing team. I have nobody over here to help me do that. There is no budget, so I need your help to elevate the show and help get it out to other people. You are my army. Go let your fellow contractors know what's going on and how you're doing what you're doing to change your business. That's enough for me. So, Duane, who are you? What do you do? Why do you do it?
Yeah, my name's Duane Paradis. I've worked for JohnsManville. I've been with JM for a long time, 18 years-ish.
Wow.
Since late 2004. As you alluded to, I started in the roofing division. So then I moved into R&D, and now I'm back in the business unit with GoBoard. But generally, I've done a lot of new product development, some customer service, some R&D, a lot of different things on the technical side related to developing and launching new products, new building products, that is.
So how did, give us the quick story of like how you kind of found GoBoard through it. It was a roofing product. So how do you go from saying, hey, I can put this stuff on a roof and it works really well to stop rain getting through, let me throw it in a shower and use it to, as a waterproofing backer board?
Well, when I first came to JM, I actually came from a cement board manufacturer. So
Okay.
I was familiar with the industry, the products out in the market, most of them at least, maybe not so much in niche products, but at least a lot of the cement and gypsum products I was very familiar with. So when I joined JM, and you talked to Chris Griffin, months before, but he actually hired me. And the task at the time was to develop a high-density polyiso cover board for commercial roofing. So basically to protect the underlying, I don't want to say delicate, but compressible foam insulation, and also the sheet membrane or thermoplastic membrane on top. So the task was kind of twofold, and nothing had been done. I mean, there was no polyiso manufacturer producing boards at those densities with those compressive strengths. So it was new for commercial roofing, but at the time, I mean, literally within weeks, I was thinking, wow, if we change this and we change that and we improve the facer and we do this and that, it would make a pretty good tile backer board.
Okay.
uh, and actually, we did for 3 or 4 years produce a board for another company of roughly 2006 through 2010, I think, during that time period. Uh, and then GoBoard was developed later, 2013. We launched in 2014. We added a lot of features to GoBoard versus the prior product that we private labeled.
Okay.
Uh, but yeah, I mean, generally the product GoBoard was derived from commercial roofing. We use commercial roofing assets to produce it. If I had my way, we'd have our own plant, but you know, I'm still working on that. So,
We'll get you your GoBoard, folks. They're
right,
trying.
I want a GoBoard plant.
But I think look, the point of the story really is that the reason for the episode is like you as a JM as a company was looking for how do we have access to these products, how do we take them and make something that's good for one industry, and then you were already there saying, well, look, this fits over here, but if we change a couple of things, like we can apply it to this industry, and now we have a way to go and uniquely market something else to an entire another segment, which drives more revenue. And that's exactly what you want in your
Correct.
company, is how do we drive in more revenue with, changing hardly anything about what we're doing.
Yeah, I wouldn't say hardly anything.
You're
There was
obviously
a
changing a lot
challenge.
on this side, but
There
yes,
was a challenge from a manufacturing standpoint, considering roofing plants are typically 4 foot wide, and we had to come in at 3 foot wide. That was the first challenge, honestly, with that first iteration that we private labeled. That was more about 3 foot wide versus 4 foot wide. Then GoBoard was more about enhancing performance.
mm-hmm.
How do we have a waterproof system? Um, can we add more differentiating features so we stand out from the other players in the market? Okay. And also the price point was, in my view at the time, was critical because our goal was to convert cement and gypsum board users to foam products. And when developing the product, I had to ensure that the value was in the product. So meaning when you analyze the installer and the process they go through
Mm-hmm.
installing a backer board before tiling, especially when they're waterproofing. So there's, handling the boards or purchasing the boards, transporting them, hauling them to the job site, cutting them. So you go through each of those steps and you determine how much is your product saving that contractor in labor, time, and materials.
Mm-hmm.
And then you ensure your price point captures all of those savings and
Well,
not any more. So meaning there's value to the contractor with
yes.
that price point.
Well, I think the key word here is value, and that's really what we're looking to do by having this discussion about finding unique marketing opportunities. And you mentioned, right, you're bringing a product into a market that may already be saturated in 2014 with options, right? We all know who the major players are in this world. I don't need to list them, but you were bringing in a product that needed to stand out in some form. And this is what kind of I think is funny, is a lot of times that there's the contractors worry about, well, if I teach my apprentice everything, well, and they're going to call them a helper and stop doing that. They're an apprentice. Otherwise they have no career advancement opportunities. That's a whole nother rant, but they're worried that they're going to run off and start stealing all their work. Well, most likely your area has X amount of projects available, whether they're flooring or shower, bathroom, whatever related, and there's X amount of people to accomplish these projects. So somebody new coming into the market that offers exactly what everybody else does doesn't necessarily stand a chance of winning any projects unless they come in as the low bid. And it's not about just being low priced while not offering anything, right? I can command a higher value if I can find a way to point out that I can save you time or use higher quality materials by still maintaining a different price point. And so I think that's what you were talking about when you were saying that there was value in the product you were offering because of X, Y, and Z factors, and we found a way to do it at a price point that others couldn't, right? And so you found a unique way to offer I don't want to say it's not the exact same thing, but you found a unique way to offer a competitive product to fill a need.
Correct. I mean, at the time, 2014, foam boards were niche. I mean, they were, I don't know, 5% of the market at best. And they've been growing ever since. And I think GoBoard has played a significant role in transitioning installers from cement or gypsum to foam boards. I think during COVID, one of the things I heard from customers when we were sold out and having difficulty keeping up with demand, is that a foam GoBoard user, for example, likes the price point, starts using a foam board, and all of a sudden it's not available anymore. A lot of those installers did not go back to cement. They went to another foam product that may have been more expensive. And a lot of them didn't care because they were not going back to cement board and waterproofing and all the additional steps. Because once they were accustomed to using a foam board and all the advantages, it's kind of difficult to go back.
It makes sense, right? If I can hit a price point and it saves me time, and I think this is constantly an argument within this world, and it doesn't matter if we're doing flooring or we're doing tile and we're talking foam board. There's this argument of, well, it's more expensive, and so the time offset doesn't matter. But doesn't it? Like if you can find a way to spend $300 in materials and it takes you 2 days to prep a shower, then your labor is going to be billed out at whatever it is. Let's say it's $1,000 a day, right? So you're $2,300 into this at this point. But if I can find a way to spend $500 in materials and my prep takes me a day, then I'm $1,500 into it, and the next day I'm making money. Like there's going to be an offset somewhere, right? Like the speed at which you can do something can offset. So you might have higher materials costs, but you might be getting to the actual setting of tile or installation of flooring more quickly. Like there are systems for moisture mitigation, and I think one of them I used needed, I could put down a coat and then I had to wait like 4 hours, and then I had to put down the second coat and I had to wait 16 hours. And I was just like, this is ridiculous. Like, great, it's a good product, it's going to do what I need to do, but I'd really like to get to what I want to do, which is install the floor, as opposed to wait for this stuff to cure. And there's other products on the market where I can go in and I can throw down a coat, and by the time, if the project's big enough, by the time I'm done doing it, it's been an hour, it's dry, I can put the second coat on and I can wait another hour and I'm off to the races. What's a better fit for not only my schedule, but for my client? Because if I'm stuck dead in the water, I'm charging you for that time. Like, I don't have something else I can just go do and start making money, let alone I don't want to pack up all my gear and go set it up somewhere else. So you've got to weigh these options and benefits. And I think that's why we need to go and look for not only unique offerings in the market, but find a unique way to present them. And I think you have a product that's doing that.
Exactly. I mean, GoBoard was designed with the contractor in mind. and keeping the installer contractor productive.
Mm-hmm.
So meaning the installer keeps going. I mean, literally, by the you like sealing the joints, for example, just like you said. Our goal was to minimize the cure time of the material used to seal the joints. So by the time the joints are sealed, the contractor can go in the other side of the shower or the bathroom and start tiling.
Mm-hmm.
So literally, the contractor does not have to stop and wait for something to happen or to cure, to set, or go home and come back tomorrow because I have to wait for 24 hours or something like that. Our goal was to eliminate all of those unnecessary, non-value added steps. And keep in mind, a trip to a homeowner or a customer can be an hour, depending where you're at,
Yes.
right? So the less time you can spend in your customer's home remodeling the bathroom is a win for the contractor
Mm-hmm.
and a win for the homeowner because there's less mess and mess disruption in their life. So you have to think about that as well.
Mm-hmm. I want to be in and out as quickly as possible for the same amount of money, right? If a 3x5 shower or a 10x10 room of flooring takes me X amount of time, and I can find a way to shave an hour off, I'm not going to charge less for it. I'm going to charge the same amount. I'm going to find a way to get done more quickly so that I'm more profitable. Like the sooner I can get something done, the sooner I can move on to the next thing, and hopefully I find a way that over 3 or 4 showers or 3 or 4 floors, I've saved a day, and now I get an extra day to make extra revenue so that I can be more profitable. What I caught in that was that you said that you can keep going. Is that where the name came from? Was that literally you can just go? Like
no, actually not.
No? Okay.
So we actually hired a third-party agency, a marketing agency, to come up with our logo and the name.
Okay.
We had a number of different options to choose from, but GoBoard kind of stuck out there because lightweight, fast, easy to install, right? Just go.
Okay.
Go was the motto, so GoBoard. I think there was actually, I think it's Marriott has GoBoard for an information screen in their hotels and stuff. So we didn't have to worry about, that because it's in a different industry.
Mm-hmm.
But so GoBoard the name has been around before GoBoard, but in the building products realm, it was unique or is unique.
So your experience coming from a manufacturer with cement boards, and then you got hired by JM and you were doing roofing stuff and looking at these products, like how did it come about that you were looking at what you were making uniquely to say, hey, this would work as a foam board substitute or another option out there? What was your thinking to be able to go and look at the product and start saying, hey, what if we find a way to offer it in this way? Because I think that kind of mindset is where contractors need to be. Is we oftentimes as contractors, like, look, we're really amazing artisans. We're not always so great at business or marketing and whatnot. So how was your mindset, your thinking, or the path to kind of say, hey, let me stop for a minute, look at this thing and figure out some new options of what I could do with it so that we can capitalize as best as possible as a company on our product offerings?
Well, I mean, working on the roofing product at the time, you start to see the product come together, you get test results, physical property testing, and you start to see, wow, I'm not too far off from the sheathing panel or a tile underlayment or, a decking material or whatever. Mm-hmm. It's all about the physical properties and the performance and the, how that can be incorporated into existing systems and technologies like regarding fastening and sealing and all those things. It just kind of was a natural move or just a natural progression towards that end goal of, another type of foam developing another type of foam backer board,
Hmm.
just because generally the basic infrastructure is there. You just need to modify formulations for the foam, different process parameters, figure out the 3 foot wide problem, uh, the sizing. Oh, we got to print the board. Okay, let's print the board. It's like
Hmm.
you go from one problem to the next, right? And you find solutions for each of those problems until you finally reach your goal.
Well,
Okay.
see, you had a understanding of another industry from a time spent in it. So when you were looking at the specs, you realized there was a lot of similarities, or they were at least
Correct.
close enough to, hey, if I manipulate this some, then it could fit
Correct.
this space. And I don't know that enough of us spend time doing that. You know, I obviously any tool that's ever been invented came from somebody saying, "Man, this sucks. I don't like the way I have to do this. Like, how can I make this easier?" And I think
Right.
that's you went along the same process, folks. Is like it's we need to look at what are we dealing with, what's the actual problem, and if you're not asking your homeowners like, hey, what's the real problem here? Like, yeah, Mrs. Jones wants a shower or she wants a new floor. Like, what's she actually trying to fix, right? Is it that it's ugly? Did the dog piss all over the carpet and ruin it? Did the kids stain it because they're 3 years old and track mud everywhere? Like, what's the real problem we're trying to solve? And when you start looking at what the problem is that the homeowners have, you're going to come up with different solutions that people aren't offering in your market. Like Duane looked at it and said, "Oh, we can make a new foam board and we can offer it on the market and it'll stand out from the other ones because we can offer X, Y, and Z with it." How do you look at your business and say, "Yes, I offer a shower, but what's different about your shower? What's different about your floor that no one else is talking about?" You know, an example that I've used a lot in the past is I'll throw sweeping compound down in a house for when I sweep up the floors, whether it's on, you know, a wood subfloor or a cement subfloor, doesn't matter. You pull up the carpet, there's obviously piles of dirt trapped under the stuff, and it's gross. And when you go to sweep it, you're just kicking up dust everywhere. Look, a bag of sweeping compounds, $25 for a 50-pound bag. It'll cover like 1,000 square feet. You up your price 25 cents a square foot. You make $250 because you upped your price 25 cents a square foot, and you spent 25, so you're up 225 on the deal, and you spend a whopping like 10 or 15 minutes throwing down sweeping compound instead of just picking up the broom over the entire 1,000 square feet. But now you have a marketing gimmick, right? I'm going to help keep your home more dust free than the next guy or gal. Who doesn't like when remodels are disgustingly dirty? We all know that. We live in this world. Why would you not want to find a way to market that you're cleaner than the next guy? And the next guy might be using sweeping compound, but he's not talking about it. Right? So how do you go and find these opportunities like Duane did and just say, well, I know about this thing from my previous experience. How do I change it? Right? And so it sounds like you had to do that over and over and over again as you tweaked this thing through to get it into actual production by late 2013. I would assume, if you went into, you know, the market in 2014. But it was like, okay, look, we have this idea, but we need to tweak it and tweak it and tweak it, and we have to keep looking at it to get it where we want it, right? It wasn't just this like, oh, flip a switch over here and it spits this stuff out, but you had to keep going back to the drawing
Well,
board and figuring out a new, okay, switch this thing or that thing.
there was an iterative process. I mean, like I said, we private labeled the product for, another company, and the product was okay. It wasn't great. GoBoard was designed to be a much better product, but it was also at a higher price point
Hmm.
because we were extracting the value of the waterproofing and the labor savings. Whereas before we weren't promoting that the board was waterproof. So the waterproofing adds a lot of value. So that allowed us to produce a better board at a higher
Hmm.
price point. However, we were still coming under significantly other foam boards in the market. So, I mean, at that time, that I think that was uh, the big thing with GoBoard is that the value was in the product, which convinced a lot of cement board users to convert to foam.
Well, it sounds like just being able to now say, hey, it has waterproofing capability built into it, just seal the seams, because it sounds like with the old product, you didn't have that option, right? So, yes, it hit a price point and you could throw it up, but then you still had to
You still
waterproof it,
had to
which takes
waterproof. You still
time
had to,
and you got to
correct,
dry and you got to hit a mill
correct.
thickness and you got all this other stuff going on. Now I can just put up this board, I make sure the seams are sealed and it's done, right? So we added a ton of value by changing the way we worded one thing because we offered something new in it. And I think
Yeah.
that's what made it appealing, right? Now people are interested in the product, right? So how do you get Mrs. Jones interested when, again, it's the same thing as everybody else has, but you changed one word and one aspect of it, and now everyone's like, oh wait, I have to have this in my life because it takes out so much time, right? Can you find a way to offer her a shower a day faster through different products you use, or can you find a way to appease her sensibilities of what she's looking for and the problem she has to sell more value than the next guy or gal because of the way you present it, right? They added waterproofing and now the product is much more in demand than it initially was because
Correct.
there's a whole step cut out of it. They've done it at the factory for you.
And also the handling and the cutting, the less dust, is just less disruptive to the homeowner as well.
Mm-hmm.
And plus the job gets done sooner. So less disruption to the homeowner during the bathroom remodel.
Oh,
And it makes, the contractor's life easier as well.
and that's probably something that's not talked about enough is that there's still, people out there going and buying cement board and cutting it, and whether they're doing it in the garage or they do it inside, like what a mess to leave behind. That stuff's getting all over everything in the garage or in the house.
Correct.
You're probably not using a OSHA compliant vacuum to capture the dust as it's created, which means now you're breathing in all the silica dust, and we all know that's bad for you. So
Yeah,
there's health benefits behind this too,
yeah, of course. Yes.
which is going to make a difference, right? Can you sell health benefits? Is that something that you can sell to the homeowner? Again, I have so many people be like, well, you're going to do your tile removal and it's going to ruin my house. And, am I going to have to get the vents cleaned? And do I need to hire a deep cleaner? I'm like, no, I offer dustless tile removal. It's not 100%, but I bet you I will get 95 to 97% of the dust created captured with the equipment that I have, that you're going to be able to hire someone to come in and do a light, regular cleaning, or you'll be able to handle it yourself, no problem. They're like, no, it's not that good. I'm like, no, it's that good. Trust me. And then the tools come out and they're like, oh, like you were right. You weren't lying to me. It's like, no, why would I? Like, I'm not going to lie to you to sell a project. There's no reason. Like, it's really this good. And so you kind of wow them with this, but if I have to be, well, as an owner operator, the OSHA requirements don't concern you. You can do whatever you want to yourself. It's when you have employees that you have to be worried about them. But I wouldn't want to treat myself differently than my employees, right? Like, let's set the standard with myself so they follow. If I have to have OSHA compliant equipment to keep silica dust down to certain levels for them, why wouldn't I pitch that to Mrs. Smith as I'm pitching the project to her and trying to sell her, right? Hey, I want your home to be healthy. I don't want you to be breathing this stuff in. And whether it's a one-time exposure or not, it's just not healthy. And so is it going to damage you permanently? Probably not on any extreme level like it does to me as I breathe it in every day, but I want to limit your exposure and there's toddlers running around probably, right? So let's limit their exposure to it. And now you marketed something that nobody else is talking about. Because I don't know how many folks, if you have the dustless equipment and you're not pushing it and telling everybody how clean you can keep a home, like it's just silly, right? So now we have this opportunity to say, I care about you and your family, and I'm going to show you in how clean I keep your home. So again, I think it's looking at what the market is asking for and then finding a way to pitch what you offer in a way that actually looks appealing to them instead of what you think they find appealing.
Right. So I've heard of installers promoting exactly what you're talking about. Less dust, less mess. Um, I think also the warranty plays a role with the end user, the homeowner. So I know a lot of contractors are trying to sell warranties with
Mm-hmm.
with their system or with their job. So we understand that as well. We're improving our warranties as we mature. Also, I think for us becoming more of a system player is helping. I think when we started, we just had the board. We had no intention of becoming a system player, but
Mm-hmm.
here we are, 10 years later, almost 10 years later, and we have a shower pan system.
Yep.
And we're starting to think about linear drains and grates and all those different things that we weren't thinking about 2014. So,
I think
so
that's a great way to take this is the Franken shower versus the system thing, and is that that's a unique product offering, and how do you look at the warranty thing? So I'm going to interrupt us for 1 second, and then we will jump back into this. Are you looking for the perfect waterproofing solution for your tile installations? Look no further than JohnsManville GoBoard. It's time to say goodbye to worries of moisture and hello to durable, easy to install tile backer. GoBoard is engineered to withstand tough environments, providing excellent waterproofing protection. Whether it's your bathroom, kitchen, or any other wet area, GoBoard has got you covered. Don't compromise on quality. Choose JM GoBoard for the ultimate waterproofing peace of mind. Visit your retailer and ask for GoBoard. So that's actually, this is a hot debate, Duane, of Franken shower versus system warranty. And
hey, I'm fine with Frankenshower. I mean, GoBoard finds its way in a lot of Frankenshowers.
It makes sense. You guys are very generous with your warranty, right? And let alone the products that you will allow. There's a whole list of approved sealants to make it happen. And I love that as a company that you're just like, you know what? We believe in our stuff so much. Here's some options. And the big thing is that everyone's always going to come down and say, the company's not going to back me. They're going to find a way to blame the installer or some installation technique, and I'm not going to have the warranty from them anyways. And I hate to be cynical and agree with that, but it does happen. Now, granted, truly, it generally is installation error, and we're just that poor at meeting standards, and so we need to work on that as an industry. But at the end of the day, even if you do everything right, the company could still opt to find a way to throw you under the bus, and you're left backing it anyways. And that's why I'm pro Franken shower or Franken whatever. If you really believe in what you do and the products you're using from different companies, you can Franken moisture mitigate a floor with self level and combine multiple companies. And I've done it because I want product A from over here, and I want company B and their product for this little part of it. And I'm going to put somebody's moisture mitigation system with somebody else's leveling system. It's going to work. It's okay, as long as we're using the right products in combination with each other. I'm not saying go grab somebody's, company A's primer and use company B's self level. Don't do that. Keep it within one family per part of the project. But I'm okay doing it because I trust the products I used, and I'm charging enough that there's money to have that warranty, and I'm going to stand behind my warranty. And that, I think that's where it really comes down to, is no matter what, if you're going to tell a client, hey, it's a 20-year warranty on the shower, it doesn't matter if the big guy backs you or not. At the end of the day, you told them they had a 20-year warranty, so someone's got to step in. So you're backing it ultimately. You better have the cash to back up what you told them. And that's why I'm just use whatever you want, but do it to the proper standard You can't just throw this stuff together. And I think that's what a lot of people are trying to do, right? They're just like, what's the cheapest way I can put this together and not care, as opposed to what makes my life easiest so that I can be as successful as possible while charging appropriately to make a dollar and be able to stand behind it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, during COVID, for example, when there were shortages with building materials, uh, sometimes Frankenstein showers were necessary.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the technical questions I get are combining different products from different manufacturers together with GoBoard. And honestly, we're very flexible with that. I mean, GoBoard on the wall with a dry set pan is very popular. Um, we now have a membrane solution, so we're allowing, banding and
Mm-hmm.
that method of waterproofing. I mean, you can even combine it with sealant if you want. There's a lot of different ways to do things to arrive at the same goal. Depends on the installer, depends on the situation. But generally, I mean, we haven't had any significant issues, even with just applying the sealant to the joints and tiling over. We really haven't had any issues. I think early on, we had a lot of pushback on only using the sealant at the joints.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things we did as a you've probably seen it in our trade show booth as a demonstration was to build a 40-ish gallon fish tank out of GoBoard. So basically a sheet of plexiglass, all the other sides are GoBoard, and it's sealed with sealant, fill it with water, and have fake fish in it. And if anybody questions the durability or
Mm-hmm.
the waterproofness of the sealant in a joint, it's like, yeah, come over here, take a look at this fish tank. We built it with,
Okay.
GoBoard sealant and plexiglass, and it's holding 400 pounds of water for, but generally I think on the sealant side, the technology has improved so much over the years, especially with the polyurethanes, and now the hybrids are 100% polymer. They're not going to shrink and crack. They also function as great adhesives. So basically, we took advantage of that improvement in technology and combined it with GoBoard to, produce an even faster and more watertight method,
Mm-hmm.
for, producing an ANSI compliant underlayment for tiling.
Well, but again, you found a unique way to offer the product to the market. Well, a lot of other companies are saying, hey, you have to use our stuff. You have to stay in our family. You have to be able to use X, Y, and Z. Otherwise, you're not going to get any backing from us. You came in and you were like, we have this and we do really well with it. So we're going to back it, and we believe in it, and you can mix it with some other stuff, right? You can pick the drain you want. You can pick the pan you want, and,
Yeah, exactly.
we believe in the sealant, and you've expanded, and it's not bad that you're coming out with a system. I think that's great, right? Like, here's more opportunities. If you want to stay within our family of products, we now offer what you need to stay within one family, and if that's what makes you comfortable, you're comfortable. But it's very rare, I think, for a company to say, we believe in it so much, like, go ahead and use it with other stuff, and we're still going to stand behind our product.
I mean, when we launched in 2014, we were just manufacturing the board. So all the accessories were from other manufacturers.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we tested, as long as the sealant was a polyurethane or hybrid, I have not seen any issues. I've seen, YouTube videos where an installer is really skimpy on the sealant. It's like, wow, I mean, you just scraped it all off at the joint. There's only sealant in that 1/8-inch gap. But I think there's enough, how can I say that? I don't want to say over design, but there's enough safety factor there that even when you have a sketchy install,
Mm-hmm.
you still don't have a failure. Um, so I think that's another part of when you're designing products, you're always thinking about how the installer, what can go wrong, right? And what can I do to add some cushion if the install is not perfect. Okay.
Well,
So,
yeah, I think you're talking about, risk mitigation, right? And maybe that's something
correct.
that a lot of companies that are within not even just the flooring and tile and stone industry, but contractors in general, they don't look at it. In fact, I saw a post yesterday. Some guy was like, "Hey, I want to start a delivery business for other contractors to like get their materials where they need them to go." And he was like, how much should I be charging? And I was like, whoa. I was like, look, it's not about just what to like charge for your time. I said, what if you have a custom shipment of imported tile and you get sideswiped and this stuff was a 3-month lead time and now it's ruined? What kind of insurance are you going to need to cover that kind of a project? And how pissed is the contractor that hired you to get that stuff going to be, whether it's your fault or not that you got sideswiped? Like, it's not just about it takes me X amount of time to get a shower done and I need to make X amount of dollars so I can pay my bills. It's what's the risk of building this shower? What are the chances of it failing? And then how much money do I need to hold in reserve over a period of 10, 20, 50 showers, 10 years, 20 years to back what I've put out there? And I think that, that's what you're talking about is you had to take a different approach as to, I have to design this so that sadly, we have to build things to the lowest common denominator, or, the biggest idiot in the room who's not going to read the instructions to get it right. But, that's what you had to do. And you had to say, okay, we have to hit this as the minimum standard, and we feel nothing's going to happen. And then you can
I
back it.
mean, we did a lot of testing in the early days on waterproofing joints and fasteners. We developed test methods. Lot of work went into that, and basically we came up, the 1/8 inch gap, fill the gap with sealant, spread the sealant on either side, and it's bulletproof. Or you
Mm-hmm.
could generally build a fish tank using that method. Okay. Um, and obviously your shower is not a fish tank, right? So you don't have hydrostatic pressure in your shower, right?
I hope
So
not.
obviously, I don't want to say it's over designed, but it's sort of over designed. So, you see a YouTube video where, an installer just, scrapes too much sealant off and you actually see the facer through the sealant, which means he's got a very, very thin layer.
Mm-hmm.
But he still has the gap there. He's okay. Ideally, we, like to see more sealant there. But, and the other thing about the sealant is, tilers are used to thin set mortars, smearing and spreading stuff, right? So to me, the sealant is a perfect joint treatment method because tilers are used to spreading and smearing or, combing, a thick viscous material. So to me, for an installer, even not a very good one, it's still an easy task to complete correctly
Mm-hmm.
or almost correctly or correctly enough where it's a watertight system, at least for a shower. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't used the sealant. I watched a demo. I've watched a couple demos, but it appears, I would equate it to, it's probably similar to silicone, which
Yeah,
they
very
should be
similar. It's
spreading at
just, you know,
all changes of plane is where you should be using that. At least that's, what I'm told from some standard. I don't know which one it is, folks. That's not my world. I know enough to be dangerous. So put your silicone, stop hard grouting stuff. But that's what you're talking about, right? Like it's familiar enough to use and be comfortable with and not create issues for them of like, oh, this is outside of my comfort zone, my world, or how I operate, which is something else we probably need to be looking at. And how do we, again, it's not just about finding unique marketing opportunities for how do you sell yourself to clients, it's finding ways to uniquely market our industry to incoming folks, right? I don't know how many times I see ads that are, hey, I need help. We're going to do manual labor for like 10 hours and you got to lift 50-pound bags and it's going to suck, but I need 2 guys to come out and do it. Wow. You really sold me on wanting to come and learn how to install some tile with you and move that mud around for you. Right. Like, can we talk about the art side of it, right? That you get to be an artisan, you get to change somebody's life and give them a new beautiful shower or floor. You're changing their home. You have a career that you can take anywhere in the world. And so how do you uniquely market your company to the outside world to attract new talent? And again, this goes back to how you positioned GoBoard when it came on the market. Was you looked for ways to, there was other products out there, but you said this is what makes it different, right? You had to make it look sexy and appealing to people. It fits needs X, Y, and Z. And I don't know that contractors are trying to do that enough. I think we just get so holed up in like, I'm just a guy that does this thing, and so this is what I sell. Like, you're more than that. Like, if you own a company, you are more than the guy that does the thing. So how have you found a way to like present it differently, or what are you looking to be able to present just so that folks know it's different?
It's always nice to have differentiating features or delighters. So like, for example, score and snap seems silly, but just because of the way GoBoard is constructed and the foam and the high compressive strength and the outer facing with the fiberglass, you can literally cut the top facer and break it, and you got a clean edge that's usable. There's really no other product on the market that you can do that. So if you look at cement board and they say score and snap, yeah, not really, right? Because you have a carbide tip tool, you're scraping at it multiple times, and then you break it, and you've got this jagged edge, right?
Mm-hmm.
So GoBoard, you can take a utility knife, cut the top facer, break, and you got a smooth edge, okay? And your utility knife, that one blade will last 1 or 2 jobs. Whereas if you're using a cement board or a carbide tip, you're probably going through 2 or 3 tools in one job. Your edges are all messy. You're crumbling all over the place. So, things like that help differentiate your offering from other products. Like, so shower systems for us, obviously late to the market, okay, like very late to the market. So we had to come, I had to come out with something different. It had to be completely different. Something that nobody else has at obviously a price point where it makes sense. So I think our, one size fits most, our wedge that's really thin, which helps with curbless. So basically we took, I guess trends in the market. So curbless being one of those, and look at, okay, so how can we take our existing product, our technology, and address some of those trends in the marketplace? And one of them is curbless installations, since, our product is rigid, high compressive strength. So we can actually go down to an 1/8 inch and still have, integrity in the product that you can tile over. So that, to me, that's a differentiating feature, or one of the differentiating features that we use to, get into the shower pan business, actually.
Yeah.
So we didn't want to just come out with a Me Too, 32 by 60 or 48 by 48 shower pan. We just said, okay, we're gonna sell these low profile wedges. They're going to be oversized. We're going to have a really slick drain body. The installer is going to cut the wedges on site, because GoBoard score and snap, real easy to cut, fast, easy, no problem. You seal the joints just like you do on the walls. So an installer that's installed GoBoard on the walls can easily install a shower pan using our system.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the other features that we heard from customers, getting the plumber to move a drain is expensive and a lot of times delays the job. Okay, so another advantage of field fabricating a shower pan out of foam on site is you don't care where the drain's at, right? So an
Mm-hmm.
installer can come in and basically, sight unseen with a shower kit and do an installation the same day.
Okay.
So I think so for us, we took our strengths and designed a system around our strength that was differentiated in the marketplace. Because when you go into a crowded market, generally you have to be better and lower cost. Typically, if you're going to make any sort of headway into that market that's already crowded, in my opinion, I think you have to be better and lower cost.
Yeah, I can't agree more. That was actually what I was going to comment on was, you're talking about being able to take something and proposition the market with it. And, we talked about it a little bit earlier when I was saying that, a lot of times guys and gals are afraid of their apprentice running off on them and starting up shop and competing against them. And you said, we don't want to be a Me Too company, right? It's really smart to go look at what successful companies are doing and copy them. Okay. I'm not going to disagree with that. However, if you just copy them, there's no differentiator and you can only be so successful because they were the original one to do it. They're probably going to keep their market share and you're going to struggle to go alongside them. And so what you're saying is, how do you find and copy something and then, iterate on it to not only improve it, but maybe lower the price point, provide more value, and have it stand out as a leading product as opposed to just being, okay, I called up 3 contractors. I got 3 bids for 3 showers. I assume they're all the same because I don't understand what any of them are talking about. So how do you go and sell this stuff so that it actually stands out and you're making sure that you convey the message of, I'm not just giving you a shower. I'm not just giving you a floor. I'm partnering with you to beautify your home, add value to it, keep it clean, work around your schedule or your lifestyle to make this happen. And you get this beautiful handcrafted product that nobody else can create. This is me doing it, right? My hands have done it. So you're right. You don't want to just show up on the marketplace and copy people. Like, you have to find a way to take your product and make it stand out as different. And hopefully you can find a way to do it faster, cheaper, and more profitably than everybody else.
Yeah, and that's where you innovate, right? You just find a new innovative way of doing something. And honestly, when you're a manufacturing company, you can't just build a plant, just here and there. There has to be pretty serious justification to build a plant, especially in building products. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of have to work with what you have and identify what strengths your company has versus other companies or technologies and leverage those into a product or a system that can, bring value to the customer and obviously value to your organization. And you mentioned the Me Too copying. Well, you can do some of that as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we weren't the first one to use sealants and joints. We're obviously not the first ones to use banding with inset mortar. All of those techniques and products can be used with GoBoard today. But, our drain is unique. Our wedges are unique. I don't see anybody else selling cut to size foam shower pans, field fabricated
Hmm.
out there. Most of them are prefabricated. You buy a specific size for a certain price. I mean, we could do that. We have a division that makes polyiso bun stock. We could machine foam shower pans out of that if we wanted to. We may in the future, I don't know. But to get into the business of shower pans, our thought was to enter the market with something that's completely unique.
Hmm.
Now, do you want to use a GoBoard shower pan for every shower out there? You can, but probably not. I mean, generally, our pan is used in situations where other products just don't work because of the unusual size of the shower. Somebody wants to do curbless without cutting into the subfloor, things like that,
Hmm.
which play to our strengths or our benefits versus competitive systems. So
Well,
it's not like it's designed to be a system for everyone. It's a system that uh, captures our strengths as a company. It's something we can deliver,
mhm.
at a decent price point that has value to the customer.
Well, I think that's a mature attitude as a company too. Hey, we have these solutions. We're really good in this area. We're not here for everything or everyone. And being able to go in and bid projects as a contractor, like it may not be a good fit for you. And sometimes you might take a phone call, you might go look at something. Look, you are better off just saying, hey, call this guy, call this gal, or who else do you have coming out to look at this, and recommending one of them. You probably know your local competition. It may not be a good fit for your company. It may be best to bow out. Or all the more reason that if I have a problem and I can't find a solution within this, Dwayne's a smart guy. Can I reach out to him and find out, and he'll say, hey, you might want to go look at product X, Y, and Z from a competitor. I think any smart company is going to do that. If I put my trust in them enough that I generally use their products and I have that relationship, if they don't have a solution and they point me towards somebody else's, I'm more likely to go back and use their product again, as opposed to them saying, no, 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 you got to use this thing, and it makes the experience completely miserable because it's not designed to do it. I think that's a really big place to be, and just saying, hey, we have lots of solutions, but we don't have every solution. You may need to go outside of us to find it, right? That's a
Yeah,
great
I mean,
attitude to have.
we've gained a lot of customers just by, maybe not today, but 5 years ago or 4 years ago, my number one technical question was, "Hey, can I use GoBoard with a Schluter shower pan?"
Mm-hmm.
I'd be like, "Sure," and I'd tell them how to do it, right?
Okay.
And then that user would, for whatever reason, they couldn't find Curdy board, or I'm not sure what drove them to use GoBoard, cost or something with a Schluter shower pan. Because obviously that's a Frankenstein system and not going to have a lifetime warranty and all the bells and whistles, right?
Yes.
But they're asking and they're wanting to do it. I'm okay, tell them how to do it. Sure, no problem. Uh, and I think we gained a lot of customers that way because once they get their hands on GoBoard and use it, they're like, wow, this is a great product.
Mm-hmm.
I should be using it more often.
Well, I
And then they
think
say, oh wow, you have a shower pan system now. Well, maybe I should consider it.
yes. Well, and who doesn't want more tools in the toolbox? We all, as contractors, we love buying tools. Like, I love having stuff. I might use it once a year, but if it was a $20 or $50 tool, like somewhere in that range where it didn't break the bank, when I need it, I
Sure.
love having it, right? And so I want to know everything offered by everybody. I want to understand it, what its strengths, what its weaknesses are, how to use it, where it's best applied. And then I can go confidently bid projects and say, oh, that's no problem. I know how to handle that. And then I might not actually know how to handle it, but I know that I can call up my local rep because I've built relationships with them. And I now have an offering to this client. I can do a job start. The rep's going to come out. They're going to walk me through it. And folks, if you're not using your reps, you are missing out, okay? Anytime a rep steps foot on a job site, and they are there and you are installing something, they become liable for it. They won't tell you this necessarily, but they were present, which means, and they're not stopping you from doing what you're doing. That means they say it's okay. So if they're present and it fails, you get to go back to them, right? Like, let's push liability off where we can. Let's be smart about this. So if you have to use a new product, call the rep out. They're going to help you. This is what they're there for. But you get an added bonus in there if you can push some liability around if something goes funny on that project, and you can track it back to that thing. So, you know, maybe we don't want to put that out there, but like, it's a huge thing. It's a no-brainer to go develop these relationships with these reps. And like, yes, that's a cool benefit, but honestly, it's better just to know them and stay in contact with them, because you never know who they know. They're running into people that are going to need their products and they can't install. So they're going to have people reach out to them and they can recommend you. You're staying in touch and up to date on products, and they're going to let you know when they're doing trainings or have this thing or that thing going on. And I've built such a good relationship with one of my reps that one day he was just bored enough and wanted to eat lunch, and he called me up. He's like, "Hey man, what are you doing?" I was like, "Nothing." He's like, "Come meet me for lunch." Okay. I get free lunch out of it every once in a while now. Like, go build friendships with people, right? This is part of being able to have unique offerings and finding ways to better reach your market. But there's other benefits too.
One of the things I've done, as a product designer, is I actually like to, be with the customers, see how they install. Recently, I've been doing a lot of training at tile distributors on how to install our system. So, you have a crowd of people, you actually do the installation in front of them. And I'm pretty good at reading people's faces. So, I test new things here and there, or ideas, and kind of gauge, the look. Like, a lot of times you'll see approving looks or disapproving looks. And when you see disapproving looks, you're like, oh, okay, maybe that won't go over so well. Or also you see where a lot of the friction points are with your product or your offering or your value proposition. And then you can address them. You get product ideas from customers. Basically, you learn the problems that they have with their business, and learn about, well, wow, if we had this product or this combination with, GoBoard, then maybe there's when you interact with your customers. I find there's a lot of value in that. And as a product designer, training somebody to install your product you designed is a very, very good exercise. Okay.
Oh yeah.
It helps you streamline and think about. I think one of the early calls I had with GoBoard, it must have been the first year. And maybe this was just me being naive, that thinking that all tilers were like, perfect and did the job, tiles were set perfectly the first time. The contractor calls me and asks, how to remove a tile from GoBoard. I'm like, why the heck would you want to do that? Or I just spent 2 years making sure that, maximum tile adhesion, right, with the GoBoard facer, right, with all the different thin set mortars. And it never dawned on me that, wow, an installer may actually want to remove a tile after it's installed because they messed up and had some tile lippage or whatever reason, right? But for me as a product designer, that was not on the radar as a criteria that, oh, the tile must be removable as well. But yet has to pass ANSI A119.10 shear bond strength of greater than 50 PSI. So if you've got the 50 PSI or greater, like we're like way above it, tiles become more difficult to remove. But then we learned, okay, if you remove the tile and you remove some of the facer, it's okay. The thin set mortar will stick to the foam.
Okay.
So there was an out for me there, that thin set mortar, even unmodified, sticks to our foam well enough where you
They
can remove a tile if you damage a face or no harm done. Just thin set mortar to the foam.
okay. Which I mean, look, you're right. There's no better way to stress test a system or process than having to go out and train it to somebody, or just
Yes.
you put it out in the marketplace and see what results. You have to stress test these things, and I think that's oftentimes something that's not done. Is we just this is the way we've always done it. We're going to do it this way. Come up with something new. Find out, yeah, or if you really want to know how good you are, you can be the best tile setter in the world, but if you can't communicate and train somebody, you're not. And I suck at training, folks. This and it's something that I need to work on. Like if I wanted to try and replace myself, and I had it in the past, tried to train a couple of people. I'm not very good at it. I'm not patient enough to like work with somebody and spend the time to get them up to speed. I can show you the skill, and if you don't pick up on it, it annoys the crud out of me because I picked up on things fairly quickly, I feel. So you want to know how good you really are? Go try and train somebody and get them to be as effective as you are or more. And then you're really, really good, in my opinion. If you can train people, that is a special skill.
You'll realize the weaknesses in your product, your procedures,
Mm-hmm.
your methods. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's a great way to get customer feedback and also optimize and improve your products.
Totally. And you look, if you want to try a new sales system, you might even want to pitch the client like, "Hey, I'm going to try a new sales approach with you. Like I haven't marketed this yet. I'd love feedback at the end of what worked or not." You're going to have them let their guard down a little bit by propositioning them that way. I guarantee it, right? They're not going to tell you no. Like they're going to get sold one way or another. So you might as well just tell them like, "Hey, I'm working on this. Like, can I get feedback from you at the end?" Right? You're asking for it up front instead of after the fact when they may not want to tell you. So you're getting their consent beforehand, and then they might pay attention a little bit differently. So
Yeah,
there's an idea.
yeah, and I found you can get a good read on the market as to what features and benefits are most important to
Mm-hmm.
the installer and what doesn't matter. You can even learn, you know, tricks of the trade. Like, for example, GoBoard sealant. How do I get it off tools or whatever? An installer was telling me a month ago, WD-40 works great. Oh, I didn't know that. Sure enough, I tried WD-40. Wow, it just comes right off,
Nice.
right off the putty knife. Yeah. So,
There you go.
things like that.
Never know what you're going to learn.
Right. There's smart installers out there, I'll tell you.
There
There's some
really are.
smart guys out there. Yeah.
So, Duane, is there anything we didn't hit on through this conversation that we may need to hit on?
I guess I'm not here to promote my own products, but if you want me to do that, I can do that. But
Look, I mean, we've kind of we're about time, but if there's
okay.
something that we didn't hit on within the conversation of like trying to find unique marketing opportunities or how do we look at it, I'd love to hear any final thoughts on it. Otherwise, where can we go and kind of find your stuff?
No, I think it was a good conversation. I think, like we discussed, differentiating, finding your strengths and promoting those and capitalizing on them. And I mean, basically, that's what we did with GoBoard is kind of combined all the strengths within the JohnsManville umbrella to, create this offering that provides value to the customer. Um, I think GoBoard is within JM's a unique product because it actually spans all of our business units.
Hmm.
So the glass nonwoven is produced by our engineered products division. The board is produced in a polyiso roofing plant, and right now the product itself rests in the insulation systems group because of the channel to market. So the GoBoard product actually touches all divisions within JM. So it's a kind of an unusual product for JM.
Interesting. Very nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's
All right. Well, look, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate your insights and sharing some of your story with us and the story of GoBoard and kind of how we can take what you've applied at JM and get it into our marketplace so that we can find a better way to proposition or position ourselves and proposition our potential clients to better sell, the unique things that we offer that we don't always view as unique. And really, look, any floor or shower or whatever it is that you're installing, an accent wall, folks, it is unique. Your hands are touching it. You're an artisan and you need to view yourself as such. Like, you are creating a one-of-a-kind masterpiece. And if I gave you 3 different showers that all had the exact same dimensions, they're going to get installed 3 different ways. Like, I don't care what you say. One cut's going to be different somewhere, and one tile's going to be a 1/16 of an inch off from the other shower. And, in a different one, there's going to be a little chip in a tile that, no one's ever going to notice. Like, same tile, same layout, same whatever. There's still 3 uniquely different showers. I guarantee it. It may just not be perceptible, right? But it is a unique piece of art. And you need to go and market that and sell that. And how do you find a way to make yourself stand out from everybody else as opposed to just offering something that lets people wash themselves every day in? But that's a really important thing in our society, let me tell you, especially with a guy with a teenage boy. I need a thing to let people wash themselves in because I don't want to smell him. He's gross. That being said, I got one more quick word from a sponsor here. So, listeners, it's nearing show season again, and I want to remind you that the International Surface event is returning to Las Vegas January 24th through 26th with an education day on January 23rd. Mark your calendars now, because if you don't, you're not going and you're not taking the time off, so put it on and book those tickets. Floor Academy podcast listeners will have the opportunity to register for free. Once registration is open in September, go to intlsurfaceevent.com to check. It should be up the middle of September, right around this episode, I want to say. You can use promo code Kyle, my name, Kyle. You can't, come on, folks. You know how to spell my name. You know who I am. Don't forget it. When you go to the Surfaces website, you type it in. You get a free exhibition pass. It saves you a couple of bucks. You take the couple of bucks you saved. You book out some education events on Monday for the cost of that ticket. One of them being a talk with me. And we come and we hang out, right? We talk, we learn business. So whether you're an installer, a retailer, distributor, or serve in another capacity within our industry, attending TICE is a solid resource to expand your knowledge and networking base. You can also learn about the newest industry-leading products coming to market, stay up to date with the International Surfaces event page on Facebook, or again, visit them at intlsurfaceevent.com. If you want to help support the show, you can head over on over to patreon.com/Floor Academy. Even $5 a month goes a long way in helping to continue the content to be created. You can visit flooracademypod.com, go to the shop, pick up a shirt, a hoodie, a beanie, what do we got? We got fanny packs, right? If you're going to go to Surfaces, get a fanny pack. You're going to need somewhere to put all your swag. Like the show, share it, comment on it, go check out the reels I've been putting out on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook. Just search for Floor Academy and leave a review. And again, Duane, thank you very much for your time and sharing your insights, folks. That's going to do it for us this week, and we will be back next week.